Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the audio blog. I'm Mr. Paku Paku, and this month of July, Mixer is shutting down. Um, I don't know how I really feel about that. I feel that they kind of gave up a little too prematurely. Um, I remember when I first started using Mixer, it was about maybe late or mid 2017. I think they were still pretty new back then. I'm not sure when Mixer first started. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Mixer, Wikipedia. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so according to their Wikipedia, Mixer started on January 5th, 2016, so 4 years ago. Um, so when I first started using it, um, I was I was recovering from a foot injury, so I couldn't really do much as far as physical activities. So I stayed at home more, played my Xbox One more, and I would actually be looking at streams through Mixer, and that's how I met a few streamers, and they all had interesting stories about why they joined Mixer. Some of them were anti Twitch. Some of them just thought it was easy for streaming through the Xbox rather than have this whole setup with like a mixing board, a computer, and whatnot. You could just stream straight from whatever you're playing. As long as you had a camera and a mic, you're good. But yeah, mostly it was either anti-Twitchers or people who got banned from Twitch for whatever reason, and they started a new following on Mixer. And I wasn't really big on it. I thought it was pretty cool at the time. Um, I'm not that good at video games, especially at that time. When I was recovering, I wasn't in the competitive scene anymore. I wasn't playing Halo or Call of Duty anymore. People were moving on to other things, and a lot of people were getting to that status of like major league gaming um, skill set. So I stayed out the scene. I was more of a casual gamer. I started playing more single player games, less online type stuff. I think at that time I was into Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I was in the middle of Life is Strange. This was like 2017, so Mixer wasn't really that big. I don't think they signed Ninja and those other big time shoes just yet. Excuse me. But as the years went on by, like we fast forward um, to this year before the pandemic happened, I started getting into like streaming just for the heck of it. Just playing whatever, see if I can get a following, or just hey, I'm on the Xbox, I might as well just record or stream what I'm playing. Who knows? I mean, I like playing games that aren't mainstream. Like, if you followed any of my streams on YouTube or Mixer a few months ago, it was always, the Pac-Man games like Pac-Man 256. And, there may be a fan of that would like to watch other people try to beat a high score or achieve a high score or whatnot. I don't know, but I remember maybe one of the streams I had, the most who came in were probably about 5 or 6 viewers, maybe. That's pretty much it. I didn't really get much interaction, but um, as I was saying though, like you fast forward to like this year, I thought Mixer was growing. I thought the community was it was actually forming into a community. More and more people were joining in. Mixer was, getting its name out. And then just last month, they dropped the news saying that they're shutting down and it's going to partner with Facebook Gaming. I had no idea there was a gaming scene on Facebook. I thought when people streamed Facebook games, I thought it was like Candy Crush or Farmville. I didn't know people were actually streaming Xbox One type of games on Facebook. I see it on YouTube, but yeah, I didn't realize the Facebook gaming was actually getting big. So by, I believe, the last week of July is the final week of Mixer. So this month it shuts down. Kind of sucks. I was getting into it. I didn't see it as the anti Twitch, though most streamers that did get banned or moved away from Twitch decided to go to Mixer and YouTube. I didn't see it as the anti-Twitch, but it's just that because Twitch has been around for a lot longer, there's a lot more negative press that goes along with it. And I'm not saying every Twitch streamer is a certain way, but a lot of the Twitch streamers that we run into, that you see that make headlines on YouTube and other platforms, there's always like something negative. Just like the past couple of months, a lot of these so-called beggars that are guilting you to get subs and whatnot, they're usually streaming through Twitch. And a lot of those kind of complaints are coming from Twitch. And some streamers I watch, on Twitch are not like that at all. And all the streamers that I watch on Mixer, they're really more down to earth. They say hi when you come in. They give you a shout out, whatnot. I rarely hear anyone begging for money. And if they are promoting something that requires you to give money, it's always for a cause. But again, I'm not saying, Mixer was just, a wholesome place. I'm not saying every streamer on Twitch was a beggar. I'm just saying that when it came to Mixer, from my experience, I had a better experience with them. I had a better time logging into Mixer and their streamers. But it's just sad to see them go. Hopefully Facebook will pick up where they left off. Hopefully YouTube will be all right with like all these streamers jumping on. Some of the streamers that I did follow, that I followed a lot on Mixer, are going either back to Twitch or might be just going onto Facebook because of the partnership. I believe that if you are sponsored by Mixer, you are eligible to be sponsored by Facebook. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it would make sense. So I'm just hoping those guys who are, making a living or using Mixer as a side hustle, I hope their success follows them wherever they go. I never got that much success when it comes to streaming. I barely get any success when it comes to this channel, but I do it for fun. So it's all good. But as Mixer is shutting down, however, I do want to talk about current video game prices. It's crazy to me that during this pandemic, well, not just the pandemic, but the other crisis going around the world, and especially in America, video game prices are going up. And the perfect example of this is the Nintendo GameCube. Now, GameCube games were already hard to come by this year. There wasn't a lot of it made. Like, it didn't have a lot of third-party support, and most of the games that are on there, just like like Enter the Matrix or Sonic Heroes, you could probably get it for Xbox or PS2 for a cheaper price. But because it's the GameCube, it's so I wouldn't say obscure, but it's not rare either, but it's different. I'll put it that way. It's very different. But the example I wanted to give is that, you know, let's go back maybe October of last year. Okay, a game like Enter the Matrix, a game like Ghost Recon, a game like Zapper for the Nintendo GameCube, those ports, you could find those for $5 easily. 5, 6, $7 at a game store, depending where you live. Because I know if you're in California, if you're in New York, if you're in Texas, prices may differ versus a store that's in, I don't know, New Mexico, Arizona, Minnesota, somewhere along those lines. Um, so, in my experience, at least even here in Arizona, a game like Zapper, I got it for $6. A game like that would maybe even $10 if you want to push it. $10, like maybe in October of last year. For some reason, because of the pandemic and the crisis going around the world, that game has jumped up to maybe $12. If I remember correctly, it was about $12 at the last game store I went to. Now, maybe that game store overprices things because they are in a mall, but I mean, it's one of the few places I've seen GameCube games. And if we do a quick search on eBay, because that is like the number one spot to get retro games online, unless there's another place I am unaware of. I'm pretty sure there are other places online, but as far as traffic goes, I'll say eBay is number one. So let me do a quick search of Zapper GameCube. Okay, so prices do vary. Buy it now is about $12 plus shipping. And like I said, this used to be a $5 game, so even with shipping, it would be about $10. I mean, $12 to $15 isn't that big of a jump, but let's see. If we look at this game for Xbox, did this game come out for Xbox? Or am I thinking of something else? Okay, so for Zapper on Xbox, prices did go up, but it's not $15. There are some listings that go for $9 free shipping, $8 free shipping, which is pretty reasonable still. For a loose disc, it's about $2.50 with $3 shipping. So yeah, I mean, the prices still went up, but the GameCube, for some reason, a lot of the games for that are skyrocketing. Not even just going up. I mean, I understand game prices fluctuate here and there. That's why it's so hard to own like a video game store with a lot of inventory, because these games don't stay $5 forever. And sometimes within a week, you like, let's just say you price Halo for $5, and then for any reason that game could shoot up to like $15 instantly, right under your nose, and you wouldn't know. You would undersell it, or if you did know, you would have to go back and price that one game $15. But then you don't know if that happened to any other games, or if it's just that one game. It's really hard to keep up without a team. And that's why I appreciate local stores that, keep up with the current prices. Even though I hate when a common game like Zapper will go up in price, like really go up. It gets frustrating, but I understand. But I do appreciate the game stores that keep up with it. However, what was I gonna say? The prices of GameCube games, like I mean, Zapper is just a common game, right? But what about something like Super Mario Sunshine? So let's check that out on eBay. Okay, so the cheapest I've seen listing is $55 for a loose disc, $60 for a complete in box, but it's a player's choice, which I don't understand why that even matters. Um, but that goes for $60 plus $6 shipping. Um, yeah, another one for $61. I mean, this game last year was just maybe like you could find it for $40. If you're lucky at a garage sale, maybe 20. You know, if the person just wants to get rid of it, 15, $20. I thought $40 was reasonable, but $60? Some people are listing it for $70, $80. That's ridiculous. And you know, GameCube is just one example. You go back to like the Nintendo 64, a game like GoldenEye is going for more than $40. I mean, just last year, game stores were selling it for 25, 30, but they're skyrocketing in price and the trend is going up. And I kind of have a theory on why it's going up. It's not to say that these games are super rare, that they're becoming, you know, that there's becoming less and less copies out there. You know, people aren't throwing these games away. I mean, sure, games get damaged. You know, maybe some of them were accidentally thrown out or whatnot. They weren't taken care of. But because of the pandemic, less and less of these games are being recycled. So my theory is that, you know, either A, people are really, really treasuring these games, you know, they're taking it to heart, they're trying to hold on to it as long as possible, or B, they're just like every other person in the world that is kind of scared to go out and they're just weary of what they do outside of their homes. So they're not really going out to trade in these games or exchange them for something else. Whatever income they're getting, they're just gonna, you know, go get a new game for the PS4 and enjoy that until, you know, if this pandemic or if the protests, the violent riots ever calm down, or if everything somewhat becomes normal again. But yeah, that's my theory of why maybe things aren't being cycled along. Because it's just like a game like Contra. That game was not onto it because it's such a good game. You know, it's a fun game. It's one of those games you could just pop in, play. It challenges you. It's not too hard. It's not, but it's not. It's definitely not easy. It's not in the realm of easy, but it's a easy game to get into. You know, you just run and gun. Simple as that. But because it's such a fun game, you know, people are gonna hold on to it. And it rarely gets cycled through because people, like I said, people are keeping it in their collections, they're putting it on their shelf, they're playing it, whatever. It's not going through a revolving door like maybe like Super Mario Brothers 3. I mean, that game is fun, don't get me wrong, that game is excellent. It's one of the best Super Mario games ever made. But compared to Contra, there is probably the ratio is it probably outweighs Contra a lot more, maybe 3-1. So for every 3 Super Mario Brothers, every 4 Super Mario Brother cartridges in the store, there may be 1 Contra that comes in. Maybe. I could be wrong on that ratio, but that's just for argument's sake. but you know, Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, even Super Mario 64, as expensive as that's getting, you know, it's continually going in and out. Whereas Contra, you might see it maybe once or twice every month, if that, if you work at a game store. I'm hoping that maybe when things normalize, well, maybe not normalize, but when things somewhat get better, when people won't have to fear as much to go out and to shop or to go back to work to live our normal lives, things will start to fluctuate in the right direction, that there won't be this rise in prices for, what's the word? That there won't be a rise in prices for, like, not fake, but it will normalize. It won't be under false pretenses why it's going up in price. Maybe Zapper won't ever go back to $5, but I hope the trend doesn't go to like, oh, it's going to go up to $20, $30 for, a game that was all right. You know what I mean? A game that was all right and is, should be readily available because there were just so many copies and nobody wanted them before. So, all right, well, that is all for today. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Be safe.